there's one player in this LSU signing class that has not made it to campus that Shea has been very, very high on since LSU got his signature, and it was a late flip from Vanderbilt, which I kind of felt bad about, by the way. Like, Vanderbilt gets a diamond in the rough that LSU's super excited about, and they were at the 11th hour had a chance to keep him, and LSU kind of pulls him away. Not totally fair, but I'm not too mad about it either. Of course, that's Ka'Morreun Pimpton. He's a tight end from over in Texas, and Shea has loved this guy since he saw the tape after his senior year in high school. And what is very, very evident is he's got some remarkable measurables. 6'6" and 230 pounds is a good start for a tight end, but he's got one of the longest wingspans in the entire class. And he also does some of the throwing drill, I don't even know what they're called, events in track. And discus is one of them. And he beat his previous high on the discus throw by 22 feet over the weekend. Now his discus throw is up to 182 feet, 10 inches. And I don't do a ton of track. Like, that's not, I don't know a lot about track. I know you want to run fast and throw shot puts and discus and javelin far and jump high. I got that figured out. But as far as the techniques and the numbers and what should be done or what's good and what's not, I don't know what 182 feet means. But it's apparently very, very good and even more impressive when you consider that Pimpton is long and lean at 6'6", 230. These numbers are generally put up by players, if they're football players, by linemen, by defensive linemen, offensive linemen who are lower to the ground, a little more powerful and can explode and throw those balls. I don't even know what the shot put. But Pimpton's essentially, for someone this long and lean to have this sort of strength and explosion and ability is really impressive. And if you look at Pimpton's film and you just look at pictures of him, he's checking all the boxes here. And so when Brian Kelly was brought here to Baton Rouge, like, I'll be honest, like, I don't know what kind of system or what I should expect from a Matt McMahon coached basketball team. I know he had John Morant, and that was great. And I know he won 33 games with three of the guys that came over here, and that was a great season for them at Murray. And we'll see what happens. And when Jay Johnson comes over, he had one team that led the country in slugging. He had one team that led the country in sacrifice bunts. Like, what's it going to look like when he gets here? I'm not really sure. When Brian Kelly got the job, you knew some things were coming with him. One, he was going to evaluate and recruit offensive line like crazy, and he's done that. Two, they were going to use the tight end. And Mason Taylor was not even really a guy that we talked about in last year's signing class. Just kind of one of the guys. And he had a monster freshman season, and Brian Kelly told us it was going to happen. Before the season even started, he was like, this Taylor, we've hit a home run on this kid. And part of that's because he's a really good player. And I think part of it is because Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock and that staff know how to use the tight end. So you bring Mason Taylor back, and you know he's going to be a really key piece. But Pimpton looks to be the most physically impressive tight end of the lot, more so than maybe even Markway, more so than Taylor. Pimpton's got the highest upside, the highest ceiling, so they say. And he's doing nothing to dismiss that with what he's doing in track, how he measures out, and it just feels like he's a guy that's going to get to the field quickly. There's not a rush for it. You didn't have to. They have guys that can help them at the tight end spot. But it feels like the talent is going to push through. And I don't know how good he is at the line of scrimmage blocking. I'm not even certain what the speed's going to look like in college. It looks really good in high school. That happens all the time. But in terms of the measurables, he could be a nightmare to defend. Because if you're talking 6'6", 240 pounds, say, by the start of next year, with that kind of wingspan and catch radius, it's just not a comfortable deal, especially for like linebackers who are standing 6'1", 230 with sometimes short arms. 6'1", 230 running with 6'6", 240 is a mismatch. There aren't that many 6'3" safeties either. Every once in a while you'll find a corner out there. but it just feels to me like Pimpton is becoming a guy that I'm going to be paying attention to when they get to campus coming up in the summer, because I don't have to worry about whether or not they know how to use this guy. You remember how you felt like sometimes Les Miles recruited incredible wide receivers basically his whole time here, which never made a lot of sense to me. Why they could get absolute 5-star blue chip receiver after blue chip receiver to come here to play in an offense that had 2 tight ends and an All-American tailback. Like, that doesn't seem to me to be an attractive spot for a receiver, but they bring him in, and you could worry, like, well, do they know how to, are they going to use this guy? Like, has somebody get him the ball? I don't have to worry about whether or not Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock know how to use the tight end skill set. And I think they're going to continue year over year to recruit some of the best tight ends in the country to come here. Because it's just part of the DNA of the program. It's part of who they are. It's part of what they do. And you could see it coming from a mile away. And Shea did with Pimpton. I couldn't. My whole thing with the Pimpton recruitment, as I said, was like, I kind of feel bad for Vanderbilt here. Like, they got this guy early, and like, he's clearly good enough to play at LSU, and Vanderbilt found him. And then you start to get to the end of the road, and you're like, he ain't going to Vanderbilt. Like, it's a good try by the Doors. Nashville's a hell of a place, but more of away fans than home fans show up, and if you go there and you play 4 years, you're probably going to win 5 or 6 SEC games. So maybe look elsewhere. And Pimpton did. Shows up in Baton Rouge. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.